Okay, in this video we're going to add windows to our project. And usually I add windows in the floor plan view, just like doors. It's really similar to the process that we added doors in. So what I want to do is we want to put some windows in on the 01 lower level floor plan. So double click on 01 lower level. And the windows that we want to put in, we want to put them in on this wall here, in this big space that we've created. So we're going to go up here to Architecture. We're going to go to Window. And we've got some windows preloaded, but not very, we got some limited options, just this kind of generic fixed window here. So we're going to go over here to Load Family. We're going to do it just like we did our doors. Instead of going to the Doors folder, though, we scroll down to the Windows folder. We double-click that, and let's just look through and see if there's something we like. I think this is what we want to use. This looks kind of nice. Casement 3x3, 3 panels by 3 panels with trim. Let's opt for that one, and we'll hit Open. Okay, and you can see that's now the one that's selected. What size did we want to do? Let's see what sizes we have to work with. So okay, 3 feet wide by 4 feet tall. Yeah, let's just go with that. 36 by 48. When you put in window, we're just going to plop them in here. We're just going to imprecisely locate them, and then we'll fine tune it. So I'm going to click on the Modify button. If we zoom in, you can see that in one case, the line that represents the pane of glass is towards the outside here, and it's towards the inside here. And we're not sure, how do we know which one is correctly done? If you click on the window, the pair of arrows here indicates the outside face, just like when we did walls. So we can see this one is correctly located. The pair of arrows is on the outside here. If we click on this one, our pair of arrows is on the inside. So to fix it, we just click on that pair of arrows, just like that. These also have another pair of arrows that are kind of horizontal here that indicates the handedness. These are casement windows. These are windows that are on a hinge that open to the outside. And if we look at our south elevation, we should be able to see these things. So let's scroll down out of the floor plans and look at the elevations here. And let's go to south. Double click on south. And we can see there's our windows right there. Let's also, I've been forgetting to tell you to do this, but go to detail level and make sure fine is selected. So take a look at these windows. Our windows are partially concealed by our topography. So we might have to do something like this. Maybe this window needs to move up. So if I click on the window, sill height by default, which is right over here, is 3 feet. Maybe I make that 5 feet and then hit apply. It raises it up, it clears it a little bit. We might actually have to simply move this over a bit. So instead of 8 feet, how about 10 feet? Let's see if we can get it to clear our hillside, or maybe even 12 feet. There we go. And we could do the same thing here. We could take this and maybe the sill height for this window is also 5 feet up off the floor. There we go. So now we're clearing our topography here. Let's go back to the floor plan for zero. Actually, while we're here, let's zoom in, and you can see the dashed lines indicate where the hinge side is. So these are both kind of mirror images of each other. The dashed lines on the elevation. This is also the case for doors as well. Anything that opens that has a latch side and a hinge side that opens out, these dashed lines on the face of it are a symbol that tells you that this side, this edge is where the hinges are. This side, this edge is where the hinges are. So let's go back to our floor plan for 01 lower level, and you can see, oh, we're not seeing the windows here because our eyes in this floor plan view are only at 4 feet above the floor. The sills of these windows, because we bumped them up to clear the topography, are at 5 feet above the floor. We've actually made sort of like clear story windows here. So we will not see those windows in this view, but I bet if we go to the ceiling plan view for level 01, lower level, there they are. Our eyes are, we can see them in this view right there. So there's our windows right there. So that's looking good. Let's put some more windows in here. Let's go ahead and go to the floor plan for 02 entry level. Oh, I did what I told you guys about. I'm on the ceiling plan 02 entry level. I actually want to be on the floor plan for 02 entry level. There we go. And in this space here, what I want to do is put 3 more of those windows in here. And then I want them equally spaced within this wall, and within this room, and I'll show you how to do that. So go up here to Architecture, go to Window, our casement 3x3 with trim. That's exactly what we want. Again, I'm just going to imprecisely slop them in there, and then I hit my Modify button, and now I'm going to fix them up. So if I zoom in, I can already see I've made a mistake here. If I click on this one, I need to flip the window. I need the exterior to be on the outside. Same with this one here. I need to flip it. I need the exterior to be on the outside. This one also is incorrect. So I flip it so the exterior is on the outside. I could also flip the handedness of this thing. I think that'll look okay. Let's go to our west elevation and just see what this is looking like. So I'll go to the west side, turn on my fine resolution, and there I can see my 3 windows. Yeah, and I can see that I'm going to flip the handedness of all 3. I want the hinge side to be out here. I want the hinge side of this one to be out here. This one is probably fine, but on these 2, I'm going to flip the handedness. So I'll go back to the 02 entry level view, and I'm going to change the handedness of that one. Change the handedness of that one. And if I go back to my west elevation, there we go. Hinge on that side, hinge on that side. That's exactly what I wanted. So now if I go to the 02 entry level floor plan, here's a very quick way of getting these all equally spaced out. I am going to use a dimension string this time. We haven't put any dimensions in yet, so this is a good time to get introduced to the concept. This is the icon right up here is called aligned dimension. I think when we looked at our annotation tab early on, we had a couple of different ways of doing dimensions. Aligned is the one that I typically use. I use this a good 90% of the time. You can find the aligned dimension icon here. Usually I just go right up here and find it as well. If I click on it, this allows me to put in a dimension string. So what I want to do is start my dimension string and then click on all the things that I want to dimension, and then I pull my dimension string clear. And you'll see what I mean in a second here. So let's say I want to dimension to the outside face of this wall. I don't necessarily want to dimension to the middle of the wall, even though the cursor is snapping to it. So what I do is I'll put my cursor next to the outside face of the wall, and I'll hit tab until that outside face lights up, and then I'll click. And then I'll pull down, and I want to dimension to the middle of this window. If I get close to the middle of the window, the middle lights up. Can you see that? So I'll click there. Then I want to dimension to the middle of this window. I get close enough for that midpoint to light up, and I'll dimension there. And then I'll click to the middle of this window. And then let's just say I want to click to the outside face of this wall, and it's not lighting up, so if I hit tab, there it goes. So usually in Revit, if you're trying to select something and it's not quite selecting, get close to where the item needs to be and hit tab as many times as you need to until the item that you're specifically wanting to select lights up, and then you just hit your mouse button. Now I can just kind of pull this up. What I do is to keep from dimensioning more stuff, I'll just kind of backtrack on myself, go back to what I've already dimensioned, and just kind of pull it up, just like that. And if I hit modify, it kind of locks that in. And if I need to, I can always move that dimension. You know, if I need, it's very easy to move this stuff out of the way. So I just put in a dimension just like this. I hit modify. And right now, these things aren't equally spaced. watch this. If I click on this dimension string and zoom out somewhere in here. Oh, here it is. Can you see there's little letters EQ, and they have a little line through it. EQ with a pink line through it. That means nothing is equally spaced. If I click on that EQ, it equally spaces all these things. So what it does is it shifts the position of these three windows so they're now equally spaced. If I hit Control Z, I can undo it. So if I click on the dimension string and click on EQ, it repositions. It repositions those three windows so they're equally spaced. And then actually I could click on the dimensions and delete it. They're gone. I don't need them. Okay, so that's a little bit about putting windows in. And then in the next video, we are going to put in a customized curtain wall. A customized curtain wall is a big window, as big as we want it to be, and we can make it whatever size we want and configure the mullions to be whatever we want. This is something good if you end up doing a lot of retail projects and you need to customize a big display window, and you get to control where the mullions are. That's called a curtain wall in Revit, and we will do that next. Let's go ahead and save our work, Control S, and head on to the next video.